I just love that question. Do you like being a jerk or do you like being nice?
What's going on, everyone? James here with another real interview. And guys, earlier this week, I was blessed with the opportunity to sit down with two stars from Netflix's Never Have I Ever ahead of season 3. That's right, Jaren Lewison and Darren Barnet. Now, whether you're Team Bevy or Team Paxton, this interview has a ton for you to chew on. But before we get into it, guys, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies, TV, and all the news in between. So if you do too, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on the bell, and hit the thumbs up button if you're a big fan of Never Have I Ever. And guys, let me know down below in the comments what you think of this interview, because it's my first in-person interview, and thanks in due part to your support, we have this opportunity, hopefully more in the future. Alrighty guys, so you know what, let's waste no more time, let's get right into the interview. Thank you so much. Well, gentlemen, welcome to Miami. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to speak with me today. So I kind of wanted to start off on a fun note, because I know you both dabbled in sports before, right? Football for you, right? And then for you was lacrosse in Orlando. Okay, so I know you've probably gotten the question a million times, who do you want to narrate a series on your life? But what about with sports legends? Which sports legend would you want to narrate your series, and why is it Dwayne Wade?
I think for me it has to be Tom Brady. When I think of like who defines excellence in terms of athletics, it's Brady. I think that he's like one of the best athletes of all time. To be able to be so good for that long, and also just like, I kind of follow him on Twitter now, and he's really funny. So I'm like, I feel like he'd do a really good job. So if Tom's out there and wants to do it, give me a call.
I grew up around a lot of boxing, so I think, honestly, Oscar De La Hoya would be really cool. I like him a lot.
Such a unique pick. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. So, all right, let's get into season 3, guys. All right, I loved the progression of seasons 1 and 2, where you get a little bit more mature, but in season 3, I feel like it starts off on a really mature note. But in your guys' eyes, what makes it so unique compared to seasons 1 and 2?
I think you're diving so much deeper into each character, into their heart, into what makes them tick. There was, I guess, a superficiality to season 1 in a certain way with, especially like my character, but you get to learn so much about him as the seasons progressed. And particularly with Paxton, you're really, he's figuring out where he's going in his life. This is the, last year of school, so it's really getting real in terms of where he's gonna go. And I think the writers did due diligence and really did a wonderful job in making that an organic but enticing journey.
Love that. And for you?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely interesting watching these characters grow and learn, because we are dealing with like more adult themes, and it does get more complex, especially in terms of pressure. And like as you go through high school, I remember that for me, especially like junior year and end of sophomore year, like that's when it starts getting intense. So I really love that we're not shying away from that, and we're saying, wow, like high school can be nerve-wracking and chaotic and scary. And I love that like we dive into that in such a complex way, because it is like really special to be able to watch that on screen. That's something that's so relatable, because it is representative of real life, and that's what I think people want to see. You don't want to see something that's like beautiful and amazing and nothing bad ever happens, because that's not real life,
No, I totally agree with you guys, and it's funny because that's a good segue to the next question I had for you both. So I know during the show, we see a lot of heart-to-hearts with our characters, whether it be Paxton with his grandfather, which was absolutely so heartfelt, and then when it comes to Ben with Davy's mother in the dermatology office. But behind the scenes, during season 3, I know filming this, there's a lot happening around the world, but were there maybe any of the cast and crew that you really felt like you can lean on? Were they your accountability partner and maybe someone you could really confide in?
Yeah, I feel like we're all just such a family.
Yeah, it's hard
I know
to
it
pick.
sounds like slightly cliche, but really and truly, like we all lean on each other so much. If anyone's ever having a bad day, you're gonna have at least 5 to 10 people come up to you and ask if you need an ear or a shoulder to cry on or anything like that, because we all like went through this together. And I think that especially our show, because it means so much to people around the world, it's in like over 96 countries and it's seen by over 50 million people, like you feel the love from fans, and we want to try to like exude that as well, and we want people to feel the love when we're creating it. And I feel like when you watch the show, like you can kind of feel that electricity, and it's because we're all so close and we love each other so much.
Yeah, same answer, it's hard to pick.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I was crying, literally. Like every finale up to this point, I've just like been bawling. So yeah, you can definitely feel the energy from the screen. And I guess this is more just for you, Darren, too, because growing up, I played JV basketball and I was bullied by the jocks, honestly. So seeing your character on screen, I love how the show deconstructs the actual stereotype of being a high school jock. We see behind the scenes with Darren and everyone with his family. So how do you you feel you've taken your high school experience and sort of evolved it into the role, especially leading into season 3 where you start to mature as you get older?
Yeah, it's funny, speaking of like basketball, like I was always obsessed with basketball, then I stopped playing and my mom was like, you have to do a sport. So I tried out for the team and they made me team manager, which is basically a glorified towel boy, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. But I ended up playing lacrosse. I was like team captain. We were kind of a crap team, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry fellas if you're out there, but we were. But yeah, I wasn't like Mr. like jock or like sports guy in high school. Like, so one thing I can say, like in terms of just taking experience and relating it to Paxton, was like being a booked judged by my cover. You know, I was in like a very advanced program in high school for like academics, and I was all about school, and people would be like, I'd be in an AP class, and then people would be like, oh, I didn't know you were taking an AP course. And I'm like, yeah, only all of them. But, like, thanks for saying that. I appreciate the backhanded compliment. So, yeah, in terms of that, I guess that, being a book judged by my cover.
I love that. I feel like a lot of the audience needs to hear that, too, because I know, Jaren, you were full-time at USC, right, while filming Never Have I Ever.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of my audience, it's funny, I noticed that they're like, oh, I'll watch your reaction in a little bit, but I have to do homework. So can you speak to, like, that struggle of, like, being a book nerd, right, but also trying to pursue your dream?
Yeah, I feel like it's all comes down to time management and just like resiliency. It's difficult, and for anybody who wants to like be a professional actor or entrepreneur or something like that and like do something else at the same time, a lot of people work multiple jobs. But if you look at the common traits and characteristics that a lot of those people have and embody, it's like this spirit of resiliency and really good time management skills. Because sometimes you have to sacrifice going out or seeing friends or sleep even sometimes in order to be able to accomplish both things. But I think that like it's absolutely possible. You just have to really work hard at it, and it's not going to necessarily be easy. But like Ben Gross, and hopefully you don't get to like as stressed as sometimes Ben gets, but like you keep striving towards perfection, knowing that it's not necessarily attainable, but that you can try your best, and your best is all you can do. But it's also really important to take care of yourself, to make sure that like your mental health, you're prioritizing that, and knowing that like you got to be kind to yourself at the same time. So it's a delicate balance, but I think that people can find it if they really give it a chance.
I love that. And honestly, last question, speaking of Ben, I actually really like that this character is challenged on both sides, right? The hardened academic side where he's always battling Davey, but with you on the softer side, I think that is actually where you feel most comfortable with the role. Would you agree, or do you feel at home playing that like, you know, hardened individual in school?
That's a great question. I think that I definitely can relate easiest to like the more vulnerable side. I'm definitely like very in touch with my feelings. I'm an emotional guy, and I definitely love like opening up to people. Darren can probably attest to that, but it's really fun as an actor to get to play a character that sometimes is like loud and brash and like a bit of an asshole sometimes. It's fun because it's different and it's interesting, and still trying to maintain like some of that winning characteristic and personality. I think that Lang and Mindy and the rest of the writers do a really great job of like maintaining that balance for me, where they make Ben like likable even in some of those harsher moments. So I give a lot of credit to them as well.
I just love that question. Do you like being a jerk, or do you like being nice?
That's right. But yeah, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much for your time and
Thank
just for
you.
being so open with me today. I really appreciate
Thanks,
you
man.
guys.
You too.
Yeah,
Thank
it's a
you.
blast.